Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. I'm your host, Dan Hewitt, professional boxing commentator, and the brains behind Boxing TV. We have two absolutely next level guests coming to see us today. First of all, and I'm happy to say this, guys, and by the way, I want to hear all your messages. Make sure you type your messages in. I'm going to say hello to everybody in a second, so make sure you do that. So first of all, we've got Shannon the Cannon Briggs. Let's go, champ! Of all, I can see him smiling there in the studio. Of all the people, I've got three people that I on my bucket list of interviews, and I've interviewed pretty much anyone who's anyone. Roy Jones Jr., Tyson Fury, just everybody, really, the lot. But just for pure energy and just for pure entertainment, Shannon Briggs has been in my top three bucket list for a very, very long time. So make sure you stay tuned. He's back in the studio. He's going to be joining us very, very shortly. Let's say hello to the fans. Everybody watching, do me one little favor. Click the like button and make sure you share. That's the only thing I'd ask from you today, and much appreciate it. I know it's a Monday, and I know it's really weird because normally it's a Sunday evening, but obviously we were competing against the likes of Tommy Fury and Jake Paul yesterday. Not that that matters, but I enjoyed it. So let's have a look who's here. So we've got Lisa Webb Howdy from Bentley. Go on the Bentley. Let's have a look who's here. So we've got Dean Beddoes. Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Who else we got here? Longton. Get in, Longton. We've got Sophie Webb here. Hello, bro. Long time no see. It was last night I was with you. But still, probably the longest follower I've ever had, Tom. I need to know what that intro is. Baby's settled right now. When that was on. Oh, okay. What? You put your baby to sleep? Okay. Hard rock. Puts your baby to sleep. I'm liking that. Morning from Australia. Gordy, cheers for coming, matey. Hope you're well. Here we go. Who's this? Oh, look, it's Carsten Harbo. Dan is the best. Greet the champ. Bless you. You are adorable. Absolutely adorable, by the way. And we've got Adam and Sammy saying, let's go, champ. Absolutely, let's go, champ. Everybody who's in the chat now, make sure you share. Now, first of all, let's acknowledge, let's say, the elephant in the room. Last night, Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul. I mean, I will say, I really enjoyed it. Listen, it might be good, it might be bad, it might be whatever for boxing. But let's be honest, it is bringing a new flavor. It's bringing a new audience to world boxing, whether it's right or not for the purist. And trust me, there doesn't really come out much more of a purist than me. So, but still, it was good. The right person won. It's the best thing for the support. Now, I'm going to be bringing on today Shannon the Cannon Briggs, who is one of the best for me personalities there's really been for a very, very, very long time. He's funny, he's outspoken, he's got energy. I'm going to probably wee a little bit just because he really excites me. So let's bring him on. Let's say hello to the man himself. Shannon, let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ.
What an absolute lad. How's things? Look at that. Mate, I haven't got that now when you're like, what was it you were saying the other day? You were 51,000 years old.
51,000 years old, champ.
Looking good for 51,000, I will say, mate.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
For me, Shannon, and welcome to the show. And
Thank you, champ.
I know
Thank you for having me.
Mate, absolutely is 100% my pleasure, my honor to speak to you. You're lineal heavyweight champion of the world. You've been in with the best.
I got the belt right there. Look, the belt right there.
Where? No way.
Champ. Yeah, the belt right there, champ. Look.
Let's go.
Look at that.
Wow.
You see
Ring
that?
Magazine. Whoa.
Look at that, champ.
Ooh. Champ.
And that's the WBO title right there.
Wow. Incredible.
And this is the New York State Hall of Fame belt.
Let's get you on full screen so we can see this. Wow. Look at that. Wow. It's a bit of history right there, champ.
Yes, champ. Yes, champ.
A little bit of history right there.
A little bit.
One thing I'm intrigued with you is your story, Shannon. And I really love it. I'd like to think that I've had a crazy life myself. But with yourself, maybe even more crazy in many different ways. I want to start really with you, Shannon, from the very, very beginning. Everybody watching. In fact, let's take a few questions from the fans. Let's have a look who's these. This is Shannon, my wife. Good evening from upstairs.
Let's go, champ. Hello,
Yes.
champ. Hello, Miss Champ.
Good evening from upstairs. I love that. That's brilliant. We've got Les who's chucking in the Let's Go Champ. Loving that. Love that.
That's right.
Yeah. Dean Meadows, again, great interview with Liam Davis last week. Great. But yeah, champ. So we spoke to Liam Davis, who's the British and European champion who was on the show last week. And he was
okay.
Great. This is my wife. I think I'm in for a bit of trouble here, mate.
Let's go, Shannon.
He's so funny. Oh my God, mate, she's going up. Mate, what are you doing to me? Oh my God, I love him.
Let's go, champ. She's the best. Thank you, champ. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm jealous, mate.
Don't be. We are family.
Tom, let's have a look. It wasn't the total mismatch we thought it could have been for pure entertainment was a decent enough watch. So you talked about Jake Paul and you're talking about Tommy Fury. I really enjoyed it. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's start with you, and I want to hear your story from the very, very beginning. And I'm going to ask some pressing questions today, Shannon.
Okay.
And I mean them in the most respectful possible way.
No problem.
I say that like I'm bigging it up, but it's not really not that bad. But still, I really do. I'm a massive fan of yours. I love your energy. Love everything about you. So, starting from literally the very, very beginning, you know, what got you into boxing?
Okay, let me cut this light on real quick, just to be sure you can see me good. All right, so everybody can see me at home. All good. Can you see me, champ?
I can see you fine, mate. All good. Beautiful.
I'm ugly, but I'm funny. Let's go, champ.
So what got you into boxing, champ?
Oh man, so I want to say it might have been around 1986. I had seen Mike Tyson fight on television, and he was like, we were just sitting around watching. He was from the neighborhood. So we were like, oh, that's dude from the neighborhood. So that kind of like gave us interest. And then like other things in the neighborhood, we started playing baseball, then we played football, and we just played everything. But we didn't have boxing gloves. So a friend of mine, his dad, his name was Gary Lindsay, he bought us some boxing gloves. He bought some gloves for us, to stay out of trouble and to work out. He actually was renovating a new building that he bought, apartment building, and we were actually in the basement. We worked for him, which is something that I'll get back to later on. But we worked about a summer and a winter to renovate this new building, which you might call a flat. And and in doing so, this was like 86. When we were doing that, we were exercising because we were helping like demolish this old building, then help build it back up. So I want to say he bought the gloves. We gave it a shot in the neighborhood. It was just like we was all like on the basketball court, with boxing gloves. But I was really good at it. So I fast forward to 2 years later. A friend in high school asked me to go to a gym with him one day, and I was like, nah, we'll see. He was like, yo, I see you fighting in the neighborhood. You're pretty good, man. You should go to a gym. So we made a bet. I lost the bet. It was over a girl. I lost the bet.
When is it not over a girl?
Exactly. When is it not over a girl, right? I lost the bet, and losing the bet, he was like, yo, you got to go with me to a gym. So I was like, all right, and I kept promising him I would go. Eventually I went, and I was in like 88, and I fell in love with it, champ. To be honest with you, Dan, when I walked in, the smell, they had music, the radio was on, the speed bag was flying, people was in the gym, it was guys, girls. It was like wow. And for me, I think being an only child growing up with no brothers and sisters, I've always gravitated to having company. So here was this, big gym full of people. So I signed up, and it wasn't always like that, but I kept coming back. And I would say I would fast forward to like 3 years later is when I got serious with it, because life was in a bad place. During these times when I mentioned going to the gym the first time, and throughout those years, I was homeless. I was a homeless teenager. Me and my mom, we had lost our apartment, and we would stay place to place, and we would get a place and we might lose it. So that was a rough time for me, especially because, Dan, I wasn't a guy who grew up like in the streets. Unlike like Mike Tyson and some fighters, right. I had a mother, my stepfather was in and out of my life, but I went to private school. I went to Lutheran school. I went to Catholic high school. So I kind of had like a little base. And then when I lost everything, that's when I lost everything. And then I had to go to the streets and learn how to survive. And boxing helped me a lot. It got me, it taught me, got my hands ready for what was to come. It gave me confidence that I could defend myself in the mean streets of Brooklyn in the 80s. And then it got me occupied. And then in 1991, I decided to get serious because it was like, I'm going to end up dying in jail. My stepfather was in jail at the time. He eventually died in prison. And my mom died.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, thank you. My father died. My mother died of a drug overdose on my birthday. So it was like, it was like, I got to do something. And fortunately, I had boxing to fall back on. So I gave it a shot. I didn't make the Olympic team because I had a hand injury. If you can see my hand right there on top.
Wow.
I hurt my hand. So I didn't go to the 92 Olympic trials. And then I just turned pro. So in turning pro, I just was fighting, man, and having a good time, building a career for myself and trying to, get something where I could call my own, a home, a family and stuff like that, So that's what I've been working on, Champ, and I'm still at it. I'm still working hard. I have 3 beautiful children. My wife, we've been together for 30 years. No outside children, just my kids with her. And I'm just happy to say, man, I'm living a dream. Here a guy who was a homeless teenager who has a family now and, 2-time heavyweight champion. Can't beat that, But I'm still going for the gusto. It ain't over.
No, that's absolutely amazing. I love that. I love that. I mean, I've interviewed thousands of boxers, and what I love so much about doing this, and to everybody out there, make sure you drop this a like. Thanks a lot, guys, and make sure you share. What I like more than anything is I hope you don't mind me saying this, Champ, but the vulnerable side of boxers. I mean, listen, when you watch boxers on TV, it's very, very much bravado. Come on, let's fight. And it's almost brutal. But
right.
I know the deal. The deal. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that. These are real people. These are real people.
Tough times make tough people.
There you go.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Apart from Jake Paul, could you call him tough anyway? Anyway, we'll talk about him a little bit later on. So you fought Lennox Lewis back in 1998, I believe, and you nearly knocked that guy clean out. Lennox Lewis said that you were the biggest puncher and the fastest puncher he's ever fought.
Let's go,
point blank. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which is, for me, and I hope you don't mind, again, whether you mind me saying this or not, it's my opinion. I think Lennox Lewis is the best heavyweight of all time. I do.
Thank you.
I really do.
Arguably, yes, I can say that top 3 for
Joe
sure.
Louis up there. Muhammad Ali was very good, but he did get beat. George Foreman.
Well, we can't take away that they took 3 years from Ali, like 3 or 4 years that we don't know how good he could have been had he stayed active. His style, you have to be active with that style,
Absolutely. I'm just going to put a shout out here actually to a friend of mine, Carsten Hansen over in Denmark. Carsten,
let's go, champ.
He's a great guy. I've just sent you a link, Carsten, that I want you to join, and I want you to meet Shannon. I don't do this very often, but this guy's really special. He goes to all the events. He's a top lad. So don't share the link I sent you because I don't want a million people in the studio with me. But Carsten, if you join that link, I want you to come and meet Shannon, mate. So click on that link, join, put your name in, and I want you to come and meet Shannon. That's the beauty of digital stuff, So yeah. So as far as kind of, you said earlier on that you were homeless as a child, which is, I mean, that's like my worst nightmare. That is, champ. I'm being serious. Like, I love my family more than anything in the world. Like, I love them. I'm a proud dad of 2 kids, and I love them more than anything. But I couldn't think of anything more scary. And we're all that close. Like, we're only a couple of levels. Lose a job. Are you with me? Or your family member might die. You can't stay at their house anymore. And we're all in the same position. That's why I show respect to every single person. So talk to me about that then, about, your homeless times.
Well, I tell people when I was homeless, it traumatized me because, again, I was 13, 14 years old. I came home from school and I went to stick my key in the lock, and the lock was knocked out. They had knocked the lock out, and I, even though the lock was gone, I knew it. I remember still putting the key inside the hole knowing it wasn't there, because I must have it must have been something leading up to that day where I must have thought like my mother had told me, hey, I got to pay the rent. And I'm sure that was a lot of that going on. And I just didn't want it to be true. And then I looked in the hole, and when I looked in the hole, I could see inside the house, and I could see it was empty. They had took the couch and they had took everything. So I was just looking in the hole, and I just was standing there, and I had my key around my neck, and I remember just like pretending like the key was there, and I was just gonna wake up, and it wasn't true. And then a lady, the neighbor, came out, and she said, she called me baby. She said, baby, come here. She said, her name was Mother. We called her Mother. And she said, your mother's on the phone. And my mother had called from her sister's house and said, crying hysterically, having a nervous breakdown, saying, Shannon, they kicked us out. Come over here to your aunt's house. So I wound up, leaving the building. I had been born and raised in this building. I had lived there all my life since I was born. And I was 14 years old. And here I was now. I was no longer a resident. So when I left the building, I took a bus to my aunt's house, and we stayed there a night or two before she told us that we had to leave, because her husband at the time, he didn't want us, nobody at the house. He didn't say it was a lot of people, and we were just devastated. So we went to our other sister's house, and we stayed there for a few nights. And then we just went a few places, and eventually we stayed at my aunt's house for quite some time. I want to say like a year and on and off for like a year or two, maybe longer. And eventually we got a spot. And it went downhill. My dad, like I said, was on the run. He was on the run, and he got caught. He went to prison. My mom was suffering from drug addiction at the time, and a lot of times I was just home. So I was, now 15, 16, I was now 16, 17, 18, raising myself really, and trying to do the best I could for my mom. She was in and out of like psychiatric hospitals and drug rehabs. So, it made me a man overnight, to be honest with you, champ. To be honest with you, Dan, it made me a man overnight. I would have never been able to climb the stairs to fight George Foreman or Lennox Lewis or anybody had my life not taken that terrible turn. And I had to grow up. I was forced to survive, and it made me tough enough to go into the boxing ring. I didn't have a lot of boxing experience. I only had like 30-something amateur fights. But I was pretty good, obviously, right? I was good enough to be considered. I had won the U.S. title, by the way, the U.S. championships while I was amateur. I was 19, 20 years old when I did that. And so I had a lot of promise. But to be honest with you, Dan, my biggest focus was trying to get my mom off the street and trying to make money. I wasn't really, people ask me a lot about my career, and I'm not proud to say that I had these great aspirations of being a boxer, and I met my dreams. No, I didn't, because every aspect for me, it was to take care of my mom, to get her off the street. Eventually I got an apartment, but she, drugs, she fell victim. But I wanted to survive, and I wanted to take care of my mom. And now I'm taking care of my family the best way I can, which is, being Shannon Briggs. So it's been a journey, but I've been using it. And if you don't mind me, I'm sorry if I'm saying too much, but
Shannon, there's nothing you can say to me, mate, is too much.
Okay,
massive respect to you, mate. I'm a massive fan of yours.
Thank you,
I would definitely wouldn't be asking these questions if I didn't massively respect you, my friend.
Thank you,
you're
brother.
Definitely not going on. Please carry on, mate.
Thank you, champ. Thank you. Well, which led to eventually me winning the title back there the first time. The second time I won it again was 2006. I think it was 2006. And then, continuing the journey to fight, stay relevant against all odds. I've been blackballed a few times. I've been, told that I'll never get a fight on network television again. And I've found a way to reinvent, recreate, and stay relevant through times when people would have given up and had to take on new careers and stuff like that. I've been able to stay afloat, take care of my family. I'm not rich, but I do the best I can to, keep my family never missed a meal. And again, I say I'm traumatized in the sense, whereas I always work to keep a roof over my family's head, because I came home from school and it was no lock on the door. It was nothing.
Wow.
And that was the beginning.
You must have been. That would terrify me. Yeah. I'd be absolutely terrified if I come back home and my locks have been changed. What? I'd be like, what do I do now? Mate, I don't like hearing that. Bless you. So one thing I did here, and please only delve what you want to, kind of speak about what you want to speak to. I believe that you were kind of abused as a child, from what I understand. Tell me about that. And if you don't want to tell me too much, that's cool. But just tell me what you mean.
Well, I grew up kind of fast. I was young, and I seen a lot at an early age. Unfortunately, my mother was a heroin addict, and I seen a lot. I seen a lot as a early child. My mom, she believed and trusted people, and let me stay with a lot of different people. I would stay with people that didn't always, they let me see a lot. I've seen a lot. At an early age. I've seen a lot, and that's a form of abuse because it leads you into things that you might have never been, upon.
Never approached or seen.
Never approached. Right. So that's and then I think at an early age I was forced to grow up. I started working when I was 8 years old. I've been working since I was 8.
What's your work as an 8-year-old?
Yeah, I was I do that too if I could. I was packing bags at the supermarket. I would ask the cashiers at the supermarket, like the Tesco or the Sainsbury's.
Like Costco kind of thing.
Like
Tesco, Mate, them supermarkets in America are massive.
Yeah, you got Tesco, right? What you got? Got Tesco, right?
Tesco, Asda. Oh wow. Aldi. Go on, big Aldi.
What's this called? What's the other one? Sainsbury's. Yeah. So
the way that you Americans say things does make me laugh. We'll say Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's. What is it? Sidewalk and all this elevator.
Exactly. We took their language and ruined it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't even speak English. I speak Ebonics.
I want to bring someone in here. Now this young lad, I see him all the time. He's actually Danish. He's from Denmark, and I did an interview with Dina Thorsland, who's the Danish. She's world champion actually. But he's always following her. He seems like a great guy. Arbo, how you doing, mate? You need to turn your mic on, though, brother.
Turn your mic on, brother.
You need to turn your mic on.
We can't hear you.
You've got no mic. Let me just try and turn him on. I can't. You'll have to unmute your mic, bro.
Unmute.
Just go out and then rejoin, yeah? But you need to allow your mic. Anyway, me and Shannon back in the building anyway. Sorry. Let's go.
All good, brother. All good, brother. All good.
My man. Sorry, please carry on.
Yeah. So I was saying that to say, like, through my trials and tribulations, what I did was I was fortunate to find boxing as well as, I hit a hole one time. I hit a depression hole bad, Dan, throughout my years of, ups and downs. It's like I tell people my life is like a roller coaster. But I hit a down point, man. And at this point, I ballooned up in weight. And I started, I had bad thoughts of what, where my life was going and what I had been through. And then I started this mantra, champ. I started saying the slogan, "Let's go, champ," as my cheerleading buddy. You feel me? I guess never having brothers and sisters. I never had nobody to really believe in me and support me and encourage me.
No support network.
Right.
I'm with you.
I had to be my own support network. I had to make a lot of decisions since I was 8, 9, 10 years old on my own. You know what I mean? So, but I never was grabbing upon that. I wasn't grabbing upon my old resources like, yo, champ, look what you've been through. Because I never considered myself a champ. To be honest with you, Dan, like I said earlier, I didn't have the aspiration of being a boxer. I had aspirations of eating today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I didn't know how long boxing was going to last. Every day I was talking to Mike Tyson. I was on his podcast, Hot Boxing, and I told Mike, I said, for me, it happened all so fast. I went to the gym one day, and the next day, it was never planned. And he looked at me and he said, "Wow, me too." And people talk about this. He said it just was happening. I was just in a moment. It wasn't a thing like I'm gonna dream to be a boxer. So it was always like Let me make it. Let me make it to the next day. And okay, so I say that to say when everything I just had like so much weight on my shoulders and stress. I want to say about 13 years back or less, 12. I was at my end's point, and I started training. I started training to come back, and not to come back. To be honest with you, Dan, it was to lose weight because I was like 400 pounds, depressed, suicidal. I was just in a bad place, and I was eating bad, and I met a guy in the supermarket one day, old white guy. And he told me, he said, "Hey, if you want to eat right, this is what you do." And it was a store called Whole Foods, a supermarket. And he took me down every aisle, champ. And I bought everything he said. And I said, "This is all I'm going to eat." I said, "This is all I'm going to eat." And I ate that for like the next 11 months. I lost 168 pounds. Wow. I started eating beets every day, coconut water. Man, the man saved my life, man. And shout out to my man. You know what I mean? So he saved my life. And I went on a diet, a music diet. I didn't want to hear no more gangster rap music about killing, about nothing, balling and spending money in the club. I didn't want to see nothing on TV about crime, killing, murder. It was all bad because I realized, again, I was traumatized from my youth on what I've seen early. I've seen people shot. I've seen people killed. I've seen people raped. I've seen things happen. I've seen so many things happen to my mother that it hurts me. I live in pain. I live with it all in my memory bank. So I don't need to be reminded of it with music or with certain things. I started listening to just instrumental, just like I love hip hop or beats, just beats. You know, classical
without
music.
without the negative.
Yeah,
What time is it?
I want to hear it.
I'll say BS because it's before 9 o'clock. Right. But just not the negative. You know. Yeah, because I mean, what joy does that really bring? I mean, they're talking about drugs, and they're talking about killing, and they're talking about using women as objects and all that kind of. I'm with you there, mate. I'm definitely with you on that one.
Yeah, I had to get off that, so I left it alone. I went on just the beats, and I just started working out again and made that. I was like, you know what? I know for a fact. And also, I stopped drinking alcohol. I had been drinking alcohol since I was 13, 14. I started drinking. It started with beer. And then it would be like when I go out with the boys to the bar, we drinking, having bottles and shit. You call it pints. We drinking pint after pint. And and so I decided I've been 13 years clean, no alcohol. Maybe 14 years clean, no alcohol. And I feel amazing. I got in phenomenal shape. I've had great, fights on my comeback, 10 wins. And I just been chilling out for the last couple of years. But I say that to say as well, when I was going through my depression, I needed something to trigger myself. So I started saying, "Let's go, champ," as my slogan to activate me, to also like a safe word. Like if I see myself like dreaming or floating off thinking about something negative that somebody did something, I would say, "Let's go, champ."
It can proper engulf you as well.
Yes.
Proper, it's a poison. It's horrible. But
it's good poison. It's good shit. It's good.
When you're saying good, when it's good, but and I'm talking from this, and I'm going to go deep with you. Yeah, like I'm talking from personal experience. I've gone through I told you earlier, massive journey over the last 6 or 7 months. I've lost nearly 13 stone in weight in that time. Wow. And that's a huge amount.
Champ.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, mate. I feel amazing
for
it. I really do feel amazing for it. But mate, it's a vicious circle, It's a vicious circle because you sit there and you drink and then drink, because then you eat and then it's just warm and then you hate. I'm going to say something. I don't know why I'm going to be so raw with you, but you're being straight with me, so I'll be straight with you. Something amazing happened to me the other day. I used to do a lot of singing, and I was in like pantomimes and theatre and all that kind of stuff. And up until the last week, I didn't even go to the place where people used to know me because I was scared that they would think I was put on weight. And up until the last week, I stood outside that theatre and I was proud for the first time. Literally for the first time. So listen, doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, we've all got a demons. And listen, love to you all. And if you ever need to talk to me, make sure you message me. Anybody watching, please share and drop a like on the video. Much, much appreciated. Back though to you, Shannon. You were on Mike Tyson's podcast with him recently, and you got quite deep with him as well. when Mike was talking about his parents being sex workers.
Yeah.
What was the relevance for you there? Is this something that you had personal experience with? Because I know you got quite upset. So tell me about that.
Yeah. My mom, I've unfortunately seen my mother at a low point that, I would not, I wasn't proud of, because my mom was a working mother who, again, put me through proper schooling. I went to Lutheran school for 7 years. I went to private high school for a year. So I had a paid for education in the 70s and 80s. And so this was unlike, a lot of people to keep their kid in private school, paying every month to month, year to year. When everybody was poor, in the 70s and 80s. And she had an emphasis on wanting me to be successful, her only child, her baby.
You were massively lucky then, weren't you? Because considering from Brownsville and stuff, I mean, to then get privately schooled, I mean, you were one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I had it made. My mother loved me. She was a nurse. She went to college. She was educated. She came from the South, and she had made it. She had a nice apartment, a nice flat in a private building. She always kept a job. She was in college. She graduated. My mom was a very successful woman of her time, and unfortunately, she succumbed to drugs. It came to drugs, and I'm not gonna blame anyone, but she got a drug habit, and for a long time, putting me throughout school, everything, she was able to maintain it and keep me nice and clothes. Wow. I never missed a meal. Dan, wow. I didn't have no bad childhood, like, I was this and that. No, I seen a lot. I seen too much as a kid. It made me grow up fast, but I also was able to understand that, I was around a lot of people that was illiterate. My other friends didn't have the same education I had. So I was able to see the difference that my mother was doing with me in regards to keep giving me education. And it allowed me in a lot of ways to be able to communicate in a good way, because I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of reading growing up. And I think it helped me. I might, listen, champ, I don't got no degree. I do, but I got a PA, I got a master's in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much.
Look at Floyd Mayweather, though, bro. I'm not saying he can't read. He's earned $400 million in exhibition fights since he's retired.
Yeah, he can read now.
That out there,
I'm sure. I seen him doing some reading. He can read now.
Yeah,
he can read.
Not Winnie the Pooh or anything, though.
No, he was reading some good stuff. He can read. He can read good.
I'm joking.
Yeah, he learned some good stuff. He doing his thing with the read. Listen, that's what you got money for, to get your education. My mother was working hard to get me to get money so I could be educated. If you leave a child alone, he's gonna be uneducated. Floyd put all that time into boxing. Now he got somebody to come in. He can get an AI that could read for him.
How good? Did you see Floyd the other day in that exhibition?
No, I didn't see it. I missed it.
He is special, that man.
Yeah,
honestly,
come on.
46 years of age.
Yeah,
I swear to God. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy didn't have the best pedigree. He was an MMA fighter. He had one pro fight, but still, I mean, he'd literally hit you with any shot whenever he wanted. It was magical watching him. Just wish the promotion was better. Going on to you, and I'll bring it a bit lighter now, because we've gone through all the testing questions, and I think you are absolutely hilarious. Okay, and the stuff you used to do to get fights, and this isn't new. This isn't new to the industry. Muhammad Ali did it with Sonny Liston. I remember Sonny Liston pulled that fake gun out and started shooting in the air, and Ali absolutely, pooed his pants. But you were trolling everyone, Davey Day, everyone. But the main one, of course, was Vladimir Klitschko, and you did some so funny things. But this, I'm going to show everybody, this is the funniest thing. So basically what happened, and everybody, if you haven't, make sure you like and share. Much appreciated. Somehow you found out he was on this surfboard in the middle of the sea. I don't know how you found out that he was on the surfboard in the middle of the sea.
A girl told me.
Another girl. Hey, the girl again. She's back. And you just got the speedboat and started. Right, watch this. It's so funny.
Go! What's up? Let's go! Everywhere you go, I go. Huh?
Funny?
Yeah, you think it's funny? You think it's funny now? You think it's funny? Now you see me, I'm everywhere, baby. Everywhere you go, I go. What's up, man? Vladimir, let's go. Call me champ. make a wave, dog. Make a wave. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, champ. Oh, little man. Let's go, champ.
It's that laughing. Ah!
Let's go, champ.
The best bit was when he went, make a wave, make a wave.
Let's go, champ.
It was so funny. And not only that, you did things like you turned up when he was at a restaurant and just took his food off him, started eating his food, saying, what you eat, I eat, champ, and then he ended up putting water on your head. I mean, mate, it was entertaining. Yeah. Now, how did you know he was on that surfboard, mate?
I told you, I know a girl. I had rented a flat apartment. You call it a flat.
Yeah.
On the beach, not too far from where he lived. At the time, he had a beautiful penthouse from what they told me in his building. So I rented a place not too far. And I was like, man, I'm going to catch him out here one day and I'm going to get a fight with him because a lot of people don't know I fought his brother. And in the first round, my left tendon in my arm popped and my bicep, and I fought him for 12 rounds. And he beat the hell out of me, Dan. He beat me damn near to death, man. Nobody could believe that I didn't die or go into a coma, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't quit. But I figured it was gonna be my last fight forever. And then I decided, to get back in shape. I started training. I told you, and this is when I went into like the whole depression after the fight with his brother. I didn't blame him, but I never got paid for that fight.
Really?
I didn't get paid. So,
wow.
When Vladimir when I found out he was living in Florida, I never got paid for the fight. I was like, man, and it wasn't their fault.
Hey, there, champ. How did you not get paid for a fight?
I just had bad people at the time that I was working with, and they, bad management and the bad promoters, and they stole my money, and I had to take them to court. I eventually won, and they gave me like damn near on pennies on what I was owed. They gave me like $400,000+, and it was just bad time, and I had to live off of what I had and take care of my family, and then his brother, they moved down here to the neighborhood, not too far. So I was like, man, this guy got a lot of nerve. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I took a page. I was up late one night, and I was watching Clubber Lang on Rocky with Mr. T. Yeah. And I just was watching that, and I fell asleep to it. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, that's it. I pitied the fool. I got to go Mr. T on him. And I started saying, let's go, champ. And I said, that's going to be my thing. I'm going to do the son of Clubber Lang. That was going to be my Monica, the son of Clubber Lang. And I'm just going to hunt and track down every fighter that I can to get a fight. Because, again, they had blackballed me out the game. Then they didn't want to see me. They didn't want to see me shine. So I had to make it a point to interrupt as much as I could.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Also, Nina, I can see you there in the studio. Don't worry. I forgot you. I can see you smiling. I'm a big fan of you. Current world champion in the house. Don't worry. I'll be bringing you on very, very shortly. Now, back to you, absolute legend, Shannon. You're interested in the influencer side of things, aren't you? And fighting maybe someone like Rampage Jackson.
Yes, brother.
That's interesting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I don't like him. He ugly and he thinks he can fight, but he can't. He can wrestle. Wrestling is just that. Wrestling. It ain't even wrestling. It's wrestling, not wrestling. They want to grab you and do all that. Real men, see, that's why I love England and the UK so much. I love England because this is the birthplace of fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying? Where men was fighting over there first with the hands. They want to wrestle. Nah, he can't. He think he tough. Put the gloves on. I told him so. He been finding his way out of it, but we gonna eventually get it on.
Is he dangerous, do you feel?
He's strong. I seen him in person. He's strong. You gotta be careful with any man, over 200 pounds that know how to throw a punch because it don't take much to to make your brain show. Your brain sits in a little scoop of water. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If your brain hits your skull too hard, you know what I'm saying? That fluid that's in there, that's how you get knocked out. That's why when I hit him in the chin and his brain do like this, He go to sleep.
It's pretty amazing. It's all right. It's all right. You're not hitting the camera, are you?
He gonna go. I just knocked out the camera. He gonna go right.
Have that rampage. Yeah, apparently the science behind knocking someone out on the chin, especially,
That's right.
It's quite cool because it's 6 pounds. We'll get Shannon back in shortly. 6 pounds of pressure is all it takes. So basically, when your chin moves, like, just a bit of science for you, I'm a bit weird like that. When your chin moves in a certain kind of way, it pinches a nerve behind your ear. Now, I'm sure you've had this because I've had it before, but during sparring, I know you've had it, where you can't, the pain there's nothing like it. And honestly, you can't chew, you can't anything. And I remember the only time I actually got put down is when I'd sparred a week after when I had that pain and I got put down because I was obviously injured still from it. But mate,
George Foreman hit me with a right hand, Dan. He hit me with a right hand and he hit me and I was knocked out cold. And then he hit me. I was gonna go down. I was fading out. I knew I was knocked out. And he hit me with a left uppercut and he woke me up. And I looked at him and I grabbed him and I was like, oh my God. But my jaw was hurting so bad. It's like my jaw went into my brain. My jawbone, it's like it was unbelievable pain, man. He was hitting so hard, man. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, George is one of the biggest punchers of all time, isn't he? Probably him and Ernie Shavers got to be up there. But apparently, a lot of people say Mike Tyson is one of the biggest of all time. But Lennox Lewis said you punched harder.
Nah, Lennox hit hard, man. Lennox hit so hard.
No, than Mike.
I know, but Lennox hit so hard. Trust me, Lennox hit hard. He hit me so hard, I didn't know where I was at.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where I was at. But when I hit the ground, I was landing. I didn't even know where I was at. And then I came to, and I just stood up. I thought I was at home getting out the bed. You know how like you at home and you say, just get up? When he hit me, I was on the ground. I was like this. And then I was like, well, I'm home. Let me get up. But when I got up, I was in the fight. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you're not the first person to tell me that. I interviewed a bare knuckle boxing legend, Jimmy Sweeney. He's involved in BKB over here, and he said that he had a similar kind of thing when he got put down. And all you can remember is his message saying like, "Oh," he says, "Turn this off the TV. It's crap. Like, it's turn this." This is what he remembered. It's like turn this off the TV because it's crap. And then he went, "What? Oh my God, people are on my backside." Wow. So, you wouldn't believe how many people say that, to be fair. I want to bring it to the modern day a little bit, Shannon.
Okay.
So you've got the likes of, I'm going to say specifically 2 different fighters. And I like these fantasy fights. I don't know. I like it. It's cool. How would you think you'd have done against the likes of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in your prime?
Man, I don't know, champ, because the game has changed, it's advanced, the training techniques have advanced, the food has advanced. I mean, I don't know about you, but I never heard of kale in my life until I got older. I never heard of the plant kale or the whatever you call it, the lettuce kale. There was no kale. There was a lot of things that wasn't available, food, science training techniques, recovery techniques. So again, the game has changed, but every era had gotten better. The men got bigger, the men got stronger, faster. So
I'm with you, champ. I'm with you, but okay, let me answer a bit more direct question. Do you think the Shannon Briggs that nearly stopped Lennox Lewis would have beaten Anthony Joshua?
I wasn't right for that fight. Let me phrase it.
I do. I think
the Shannon Briggs that fought Foreman and the Shannon Briggs that fought Ray Mercer. Those 2 Shannon Briggs could have fought anybody in history, and that might not have won, but would have done good with anybody for 5 rounds to 10 rounds to 12 rounds. I would have did those 2 Shannon Briggs. When I fought Foreman that night, because and the night that I fought Mercer, reason for both of them. When I fought Foreman, my mother had just died. Damn, my mother had just died. My mother had just died. I didn't have no money, and my son was just born, my first son. Yeah. And I was like, man, I gotta find a way to make some money for my family. You're my new family now. No mother, no father, no brother, no sister. This is my new family. I got to find a way to make some money for us. So I trained hard, and I went down. My next fight was against Lennox Lewis, but for that fight, I had a bad hand. So I went into the fight. I couldn't even train for the fight. I couldn't even train properly for the fight. Forget train. I couldn't do anything for the fight except just know I was going to lose and do the best I could. But I knew I was in bad trouble. And then when I fought Mercer, that Shannon Briggs could have fought anybody in the world at any time. And I'm not going to say I would have won, but that night I could have fought anybody and did good. And
you felt pretty much invincible, pretty much.
Yeah, because I was in shape. Those 2 nights is the nights I could say, man. I had a few fights off television that people didn't see. I had a lot of fights too that people never seen, and I fought some decent journeyman guys that was supposed to go a couple rounds. But I'm talking about Dan. I'm telling you, Dan. When I tell you, Dan, listen to me. When I tell you I hit this one dude so hard, I thought I killed him, champ. Really? His name was Dickie Ryan. I hit him so hard with a right hand. I was like, yo, I don't want to do this no more. I hit him so hard. Yo, Dan, when I hit him, he was swallowed. His mouthpiece was going down his throat.
Oh, Jesus, really?
He was laid off. He was laid on the bottom rope. His arms were spread out like this, and he was hanging out the ring. And I thought I killed him. I hit him so hard, champ. I knew I hit him. And another time, I fought another dude off television. Man, I gotta look up my record to see his name. But yo, Dan, listen to me, champ. Listen, I hit him so hard with a right hand. When I hit him on the top of the head, yo, he crumbled like an accordion, how you push it down?
Yeah.
He went down. He just crumbled down. And his body was done. I said, oh my gosh, Shannon, you killed him. I knew when my knuckle landed that it went in his head because that's how hard it was. And I threw the punch Dan so effortlessly.
Yeah,
I didn't even put it,
Yeah, they're the shots, aren't they? They're the shots thrown correctly. That's a hell of a lot better than just a hard thrown shot that's not thrown correctly. So I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I want to talk about you a little bit, and then we'll bring Nina on very, very, very shortly.
Okay, sorry, Nina. I apologize, Nina.
Hey, no, Champ, it's a pleasure hearing your story, mate. I've had loads of love. In fact, let's go to the fans really, really quickly. Well,
let's go, Champ.
We're here. Let's have a look. Who's got what people have got to say? When I can press the right button. Oh, there we go. Can you please fight John Fury? I know he's not a boxer, but please. Hey, mate, that'd be sick. Would you fight John Fury? That'd be brilliant. That'd be a brilliant pay-per-view.
I would, but they got to give him life insurance.
I tell you, he's an odd man. He is. I'm telling you now. He imagine the press conferences to see John Fury.
That's my boy. I love John. That's my boy.
Can you imagine the press conferences?
I can't fight John. I love him too much. He's the best. He's the best.
He's gone, man. Let's have a look who else is here. We've got Lee Hurley. I think he's talking about Joshua. If the fat kid in the ring, Ruiz can beat him, you defo beat him. I think I agree with that. We've got Wes coming in, top lads. Let's go, champ. Absolutely. So the plan for you now is you want to come back to the UK, and for a few different reasons. You'd like to do some. We're some of our very, very, very good friends, Jay. Who I've done many.
Shout out to Jay Newman. Shout out to Jay Newman.
Unbelievable man, unbelievable friend. Hope you're well, Jay. And yeah, so you're going to come over to the UK. You're going to be doing some dinner shows where you can sit down and hear your story and talk to you and have photos with you. But one thing that I really, really liked as well, champ, is that you come in as well to speak to some of the fighters and train and give some advice to some of the fighters, which I think is pretty amazing. Like I said to you off camera, I did a similar kind of thing with one of my very good friends, Alfonso Lopez, coming over and sparring. I think it was the British or an English an area, Midlands area, I think, champion. And it was amazing because he got to see. He came to my town, and I mean, I'd love to do the same with you.
Oh,
and
man,
we'll meet up.
We'll
meet up, mate. And
what town? What's the name of your town?
Stoke.
Oh man, I gotta go to Stoke for sure.
You better.
I gotta go to Stoke.
You bet. Well, wherever you're going, mate, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. We'll have a coffee and we can just shout, let's champ. Let's go.
That's right. We're gonna do a lot of that.
Absolute legend of a man. For me, I just want to say more than anything, This has been a real pleasure for me. And,
Thank you, brother.
you know, I'm going to be respectful with it, but there may be fighters out there that have potentially achieved more. There may be fighters out there who have a bigger following. But for me, you are just being you. You're very special.
Thank
you're
you,
very
brother.
special to this great sport of boxing, and never change, bro.
Thank you, brother,
Never,
so much,
ever,
man.
ever change. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the show. I'd love to see you when you come over to the UK.
I'm coming to see you. What you talking about? I'm coming to hang out with you.
Let's go do a live with me.
Yeah, I'm coming to hang out with you. We're gonna do the show
brother.
with me. We're gonna do the show with me sitting right next to you,
mate.
talking, having fun.
I'm absolutely game as anything for that, mate. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Shannon.
Thank you, champ. Thanks for having me, Dan. You got the best.
Pleasure.
You got the best show on the internet for sure.
Legend, absolute lovely man, and what a story. Thanks for coming on. Cheers, Shannon.
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
That was bucket list for me. Absolute bucket list. What a lovely bloke. Absolutely lovely bloke. Now, I've got my next guest patiently sitting in the studio. And I tell you what, she can proper fight. Like, pocket rocket. Like, I'm being deadly serious. I would not like to get in an argument with Nina. Nina Hughes is the current bantamweight world champion. She is an unbelievable fighter, and I'm going to bring her on. Just check her out because she's a beast. Nina, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Bless, I'm brilliant. I'm absolutely brilliant. Thanks for asking. It's a pleasure to welcome you on the show. Sorry for being slightly late there with me and Shannon. Our guy getting all excited, all hyped up, and he's cool, isn't he? He's just cool.
It's just listening to him.
He's just a cool guy. But this is about you now, and I will say that to the masses. When I say the masses, I'm talking potentially the casuals. They might not know who you are. Because of your special story, which for me, I think is real. And I didn't know this, to be fair, until really, really recently. You could make a film about your career, couldn't you? Don't you think?
Proper. A few people said that to me lately.
Wild, like absolutely wild. I'm going to give you the gist, and we're going to ask you the reason why. So this is Nina. Okay. She is. I mean, I hate to ask a lady her age. But are you 40 now?
Yeah.
Turned professional at 39 years old. Nobody wanted sign her. She had 5 fights and became a world champion. What, mate? That is cool. That is cool. I'm telling you now. I have massive respect. And you beat Jamie Mitchell. Incredible. Yeah. Incredible. So I want to talk about you. Let's talk from the very, very beginning then. So what got you into boxing?
It was through fitness. I did a boxercise class with a friend one day, and then we joined a kickboxing gym, but we just done it for the fitness. And then I ended up joining a boxing gym purely for fitness, still just as exercise. And my coach at the time, Chris Oko, talked me into it.
Amazing. Do me a favor, just turn your phone on the side so I can see you. Beautiful. Oh, wait, we're spinning. Making me dizzy. Right, okay, brilliant. I can see you. Fantastic, great stuff. We've got some questions coming in. There we go. Wes Brewer. He thinks women deserve 3-minute rounds. Let's make this happen. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as an amateur, from the age of 16, you box 3-minute rounds. So females box it in. So it's transitioning back to 2-minute rounds.
Why do you think that is, though?
I don't know. They keep saying that it's not safe. I don't know. I think one day they'll change it, but I don't know when.
Okay. Would you be up for that? Would that suit your style, do you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think a lot of the fights at the moment, they're all very fast-paced. So obviously it would be slowed down, but you'd see a lot more knockouts, I'm sure. So, yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Everybody watching, please like and share this post. Much appreciated. So I've got so many questions with you, and it's so fantastic to speak to you this Is it early in your career? I'm not quite sure. Tell us about your. You know, you're with me, aren't you? There. So tell us about your amateur background, because from what I hear, and when everybody found out that I was speaking to you, everybody kept saying, "What an amateur! What an amateur!" Tell me about that.
So yeah, I boxed for amateur for obviously a long time. I won quite a few national titles within 18 months of boxing. I was picked for the first ever female GB squad with the likes of like Chantel Cameron, Savannah Marshall, Tasha Jonas. Missed out on the Olympics to Nicola Adams. Yeah, stopped boxing for a few years. Had 2 children. I'll come back to boxing after my first child. Won a couple more national titles. Yeah, travelled the world boxing for England.
I love how you say dead cows. Yeah, I had a couple of kids, come back, won some more national titles. Like, that's dead easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's go back. A couple of casual titles. I love it. I love it. Have you got little boys, little girls?
2 boys.
Yeah. How old are they?
Yeah, 8 and 6.
Yeah, hard work, but beautiful.
Yeah, handful.
I haven't slept on my bed for about 5 months because my little girl next to my spot. So let's just say I feel your pain, mate. I feel your pain, but bless him. I wouldn't change him for the world. Love my baby's my little girl and little boy more than anything in the world. So I wanted to, and I don't want to talk about age. It's not about that. I want to talk about your story, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, when you did turn, there were questions over your age, which is fine.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You're 39. Tell us about that. What happened there? Who turned you down? Who welcomed you? Talk to me about that.
So, yeah, it was during lockdown. I was going to retire from. I kept saying to myself, I was going to do one more championships in the amateurs, and then I was going to retire. Then lockdown happened, and yeah, I just thought after like a year or so, went past. Thought, oh, it's time to retire. And then there was a lot of female professional boxing on the telly starting to take off and getting televised. And I just suddenly thought I could still beat these. And I just thought I've got to give it a go. I thought if I don't give it a go, I'm just going to regret it for the rest of my life. I thought if I give it a go and I don't get anywhere, then at least I've tried.
You give it a shot.
Yeah. So I went to a pro gym. That was when pro gyms were allowed to be open and amateur gyms were shut. And yeah, even my coach at the time, Kevin Lilly, when I first told him my age, he was like, "Why so late?" He just laughed at me. But yeah, once we started training, yeah, we just pushed on, and then yeah, it was about finding a manager, finding a promoter, and yeah, MTK took me on in the end. But yeah, no promoters. Everyone just said I was too old. So
Eddie, Frank, they all just said, "No, sorry, you're too old. I'm not having anything to do with you."
Basically, yeah.
Really? What was your response to that?
What could I?
We like stuff you then.
I just didn't. I had no options. It was just like obviously you just want someone to give you a chance.
Yeah.
And then,
that's cool.
So you just keep trying, and then obviously MTK gave me a chance. So at the time, like obviously they were giving me a chance. They put me on the good shows. But then obviously they folded. So then we was like back to square one again.
So am I right thinking that you're with Matchroom now?
Yes.
So you know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
Yeah.
How did he come crawling back?
Well, they gave me the opportunity to fight for the world title, so it was all part of that deal.
Okay, cool.
So
I like that.
They're the ones that gave
Not
me
a bad reason. I could just see Eddie sitting there going, "Well, I know I said no, but I've got this opportunity that I can get you." Yeah. Okay, well, listen. Whatever.
They thought I was going to lose. Everyone thought I was going to lose. So
yeah.
Everyone thought I was going to lose to Jamie Mitchell, but yeah, I was given the opportunity. She needed an opponent, and a little bit of banter on Twitter. So she wanted to box me, so she chose me as a voluntary, and yeah.
Do you think she might have took you a bit lightly? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She thought.
Did she just not know you were dead on?
3 fights. I think everyone did. Looked at me, thought 40 years old, 3 fights, doesn't stand a chance. But people don't realise that your amateur background goes towards a lot. Like
Yeah,
If I didn't have that
damn
amateur
right.
background, I wouldn't have been able to get where I was in that fewer fights. So
No, I like
yeah,
it. I like it. I
everyone
like it.
overlooked that. She overlooked me and thought she was going to walk through me easily.
Well, she definitely didn't do that, did she? That's sure. So you're incredibly strong, really strong. You're an absolute scrapper, big time. So is there anything particularly that you work on to develop that power? Because you are incredibly strong.
Nothing really. Like going from the amateurs to the pros, it was just about throwing your shots correctly. Because as an amateur, I didn't really barely stop anyone. Like, I don't think I didn't feel like I had any power as an amateur, but it was just
Okay.
not. It was just learning to literally just learning to throw your shots correctly and sit down on your punches. So once we adapted that, the power came.
So you feel that of turning over to the pros, you feel that maybe does that suit you more, do you feel, than when you were an amateur?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed like the transition over learning new things, and yeah, I enjoy all of it.
Amazing. So yeah, so you won the world title fighting Jamie
Yeah,
Mitchell, who's a very, very good fighter. She's got a very, very good story herself, in fact, hasn't she, Jamie Mitchell?
yeah.
But you won this world title as a massive, massive underdog. But what I want to be clear with this is that you did it when you were 40 and you turned pro at 39. I mean,
Yeah.
mate, I mean, has ever been done? I mean, what did so it would potentially be Loma. I mean, when was Loma? Was Loma faster than you, or were you faster than him?
I think Clarissa. Someone told me I was the fastest British person. I
So
think like
Clarissa Shields might have done it sooner, do you feel?
yeah, I think Clarissa should have done it quicker.
Oh, gutted. She can't have done it much faster. Mate, you were motoring, weren't you? Doing a fight every like 2 months and stuff. That's absolutely incredible. I mean, how did it feel when you won the world title?
Oh, amazing! It was just like all them dreams actually become a reality. Like I dreamt about it for so long in my head. I just kept thinking about it, and I did believe that I could, but I just never thought I'd be ever get the opportunity to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously being turned down by all the promoters, I just thought, will I ever get the opportunity to? I doubt it, and I just kept chipping away, just hoping that that opportunity would come, and it did. And there was no way I was losing.
Was it almost like when you won the world title that you were like, do you know? Do you know what I mean? You doubted me, Eddie. You doubted
Yeah,
me, Frank. And now here's me, top of the world. Did it feel a bit like that?
it was a good feeling. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Especially like literally, I shouldn't have been looking, but I was looking at social media the night before my fight, and I was looking at all these polls, and they had like 96% of people for her thought she was going to win, and only 4% of people give me a chance. And I was just thinking, oh my god, literally, I knew I was the underdog, but I didn't realise by that much.
Well, mate, that's someone wants some good money on you. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So there's a couple of names on your radar. Shannon
yeah,
Courtney being one of them.
yeah,
Considering the fact that Shannon got beat by Jamie Mitchell and you
yeah,
beat Jamie Mitchell,
yeah.
I mean, I know styles make fights. I get that. But are you confident? Are you confident in the win against Shannon Courtney?
Yeah, definitely. I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my ability, and I'm confident in who I think I can beat. So yeah, I definitely confident that I'm going to beat her.
I could tell you're confident there. So Shannon's been on this. I've been on TV a lot. From what I
Yeah,
see, you know, she's been on that soldier thing, and she seems that and she's nothing wrong with it. She's been a world champion, but it seems like she might be enjoying the outside sport of boxing
yeah.
quite a lot. Does that give you confidence that maybe she's enjoying the celebrity life potentially more than what she should be at this
No,
stage?
I don't look too much into that. I just concentrate on her as an opponent. With what she does out the ring doesn't really make much difference. I've just got to prepare for the best Shannon Courtney that can come. So like Jamie Mitchell, we literally trained for everything and prepared for anything she could bring. Like we didn't know if she's going to box on the back foot or the front foot. We trained and prepared for everything, and we'll do the same for Shannon.
I like it. Also on the radar is Ebony Bridges.
Yeah,
And now this is a real question. I was almost tentative to ask you this question, but I think it's needed really from someone as a peer and a equal world champion. So she likes the lingerie at weigh-ins. She's on OnlyFans, with porn stars
yeah,
and all this mad stuff. And if anything, sexualizing the sport of female boxing. Are you for that? Against that? Do you like it? I mean,
it's not for me, but it's each to their own, really. I'm not nothing against her for doing it. She's made a load of money from doing it, and she's got to where she has from doing it. So you can't knock her. Like, she's created her own opportunities, and she's made a lot of money from it. So yeah, it's not for me, but yeah, each to their own.
I mean, I've been considering it myself. I just don't think there's much of a market for fat, ginger, chubby guys from Stoke. I might be able to get myself 50p. 50p. Might be able to buy a loaf of bread a year if I do that. But still, so going kind of Ebony. You was talking about Ebony Bridges and stuff. That's a great fight. That's a really, really good fight. And because you both come forward fighters, that'd be an exciting fight. How would you feel a fight would go between you and Ebony?
I'm gonna win.
You're not gonna say you're gonna lose. Do you feel that you could, let's say, outpunch the potential puncher?
Yeah, I think I can hurt her, and I think I can outfight her and outbox her. I'm confident that. I mean, I wanted her next because obviously she's the one with the belt, but she's had hand surgery, so she's going to be out for a while. So that's why Shannon made sense for the next fight. But yeah, it's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to, and I need to obviously get through Shannon first, and then that fight should be next.
Legend, absolute legend. Let's go to the fans. We've got a few people coming in. Lee Gardner came in with, what's the chance you find Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney? We've gone through that, thank you. Karsten Hansen fight Dina Thorsland. Dina's a really nice lady. She's a very good fighter, very good champion. What weight's Dina?
She's the same weight. So the plan is to fight Shannon, fight Ebony. I mean, what would be, in a dream world, what would be even better is the other two champions, Dina and Luna. I mean, if they could fight like similar time to when me and Ebony fought, it'd be like a semi-final, and then the winners could fight for undisputed.
Like a Super Six.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool.
That would be the dream. That would be the dream. But obviously,
unofficial Super Six.
Yeah, I want to beat Shannon and Ebony first, and then look at Luna and Dina next.
I like it. So we've got one from Leslie Webb here. Hi, Nina. Certainly proof that if you want something from life, then go for it, as age is not a barrier. Good luck, Nina. A true inspiration and all the very best. Thanks for your comment, Leslie, mate. That's absolutely mint. Lee Gardner, mate, I'll subscribe for you, Dan. Top lad. Get in, kid. Lee Hurley, walkover is the Sharon. Ooh, okay. Lee Hurley with the shade. It's a walkover for Shannon Courtney. I mean, Shannon's a good fighter. I mean, listen. I'm a commentator. I have to stay on the fence. I know I don't always, but stay on the fence. So obviously you've 5 fights in. You're a world champion against all the odds. Where'd you go from here? What do you hope to achieve in your career? Past this, you're already champ.
Well, obviously I didn't look. All I wanted to do is world champion. That was my dream. So I've achieved my goal now. So obviously I've got to raise the bar and set the targets a bit higher. I definitely want at least one more belt, but obviously, if it can happen, beat Ebony, take her belt, and then look at the other 2 belt holders.
Bless your heart, bless your heart. And female boxing is really gaining momentum. I absolutely love it. And I've been a lot of the ones, the female ones I've been doing out in America, mate. It's been brutal, horrible, brutal fights. I mean, this was a little bit it's gone a bit more civilized, if you like. But before, it was just a lady getting put in with this woman who's just been brought off the street, and she's getting absolutely battered, like really bad, like proper, not even like journey woman. I'm talking like battered, like never threw a punch in life. As far as kind of female boxing, it's great to see Katie Taylor and obviously Serrano there in the rematch, which is fantastic. Do you still feel there's a long way to go in female boxing? Or do you feel that
definitely.
you're on the brink?
I think it's on the right track, but there obviously still is a long way to go. I mean, Eddie Hearn's doing a great job with female boxing. It'd be good to see the other promoters promoting it and developing it more as well. And just gradually 3-minute rounds, money going up for women, just everything really. There's a lot of catching up to do, but I think it's on the right track.
Great question here. I saw while I was hiding there from Lee Gardner again. Can you step up a couple of weights, or are you staying at bantam?
Well, I did box at super bantam. I did win the Commonwealth and WBO international at super bantam. So I think super bantam's my limit. I could get down to super fly as well if I needed to, but bantam's where I feel most comfortable. So I'll stay here.
Stay there, then, mate. Stay there. Dominate. Be unified world champion, undisputed, absolute legend. And I mean, for female boxers, male and female boxers, watch the show. But what advice have you got to give for, let's say, a young male or female boxer coming through the ranks? Because you've got such an inspirational story. What advice have you got for, a young fighter out there? Let's just say female.
Just keep training and never give up on your dreams. Like, there's obviously times that are hard and I've nearly given up, but I just kept pursuing those dreams and I made them a reality. They finally happened.
Bless your heart. I've just going to say, really, from my end, a massive, massive thank you for coming on the show. You've got a fantastic story. You're incredibly inspirational. And I really look forward to, I always end up friends with all my guests that come on because I feel like I know them. I don't, one thing, people, all the fans watching, you probably notice I don't go to press conferences. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because to a fighter, it's a job. It's boring. You're having asked the same question 900 times in a row, and it's just a job. Whereas this is, I like it's a lot more personal. I can get to know you. We can talk about you and big you up in life, and that's the reason why we do what we do. But for Nina, for you, I massively appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks
for having me.
Oh no, listen, the pleasure is. I've had two fantastic guests tonight, so thank you so much for coming on the show. Much appreciated.
Oh, thanks. Cheers.
See you soon. All the best.
See you later. Bye-bye.
What a legend. I've had two fantastic guests tonight. I really have. So this is a bit weird with it being on a Monday because it's normally on a Sunday. But obviously with the Tommy Fury fight. Massive well done, by the way, to Musin Kaysen, who was called the Muslim boxer, who I spoke to before he went to Saudi. And he looked magic. In there on the undercard of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. But I'm going to check who we've got on this week. So this week we have quite an exciting show this Sunday at 8:30 GMT. We have Tommy Morrison's wife. We did a show with Tommy Morrison's wife, Trisha. Actually, breaking news, really, that everybody thought that he had HIV, Tommy. Turns out he didn't have HIV at all. And it's a massive, it's not even a conspiracy. They've got proof that he didn't have HIV. And we did a show which reached tens and tens of thousands of people. And we've got some more news. So we're going to bring that this Sunday at 8:30 GMT. It was, I'm really looking forward to that. I've got some coming in. I've genuinely missed this since you went big time on the telly. Oh, bless you. So talking about that, dead quick, it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing having the show. I had to learn a lot, and in order to get the show on TV, and it was genuinely a dream come true. I cried when I got told that I could do it, but I missed this, and I never realized how much I missed this. Just speaking with you guys and speaking with the fighters and learning. So I just want to say I genuinely appreciate everybody watching and enjoying the content. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, honestly. So we've got Trisha Morrison who's going to be coming on, and also Gio Cabrera Mieletti. Gio is a young southpaw from the US. He is special. He's unbeaten. You probably saw there's one with millions and millions of views. Where he tries to shake his opponent's hand and his opponent says no, and then Gio knocks him out. So he's a top lad. So really looking forward to bringing him on. In the meantime, thank you for your time. I know it's been a bit strange with it being on a Monday. Everybody catching up. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you share. I'll see you on Sunday. Stick into your boxing and take care of yourselves and your families. All the best.